Wrestling memories. I believe it's October 17th, 1986. A very young Mike Messier. I'll give you, just for fucking whatever the fuck's sake, kind of the personal background, of the story because, sometimes that adds a little flavor to the situation. Basically, came from a divorced family. Parents were divorced, so forth. My mom, I lived with my mom, and she was she was tolerant of wrestling. She even liked wrestling. I'd say she liked it enough to take me to the shows, and so my mom. But she had this friend named Jackie. Okay, female friend named Jackie who had her own couple of sons. One was younger than me, one was older than me. Now, of course, in parental minds, if you have kids anywhere within 5 or 6 years of each other in age, they're all just going to magically get along. But these two guys were kind of scrubs. They didn't particularly like wrestling, or they didn't like wrestling, or they just didn't watch it, but I don't think they were opposed to it. But basically, my mom kind of demanded or invited her friend to go to this wrestling show. Of course, she brought her sons, and off we went. But, here I am, the smart mark of the fucking bunch, and all these assholes don't know a goddamn thing about wrestling. So, it was kind of an uncomfortable situation for me, at least, because I had no one to really talk about real wrestling with. I just had these people that, my mom and her friend. So there was no, smart other fucking fan. No, I made a sign. See, I was one of those fucking kids that would actually make goddamn signs to this thing. And I made a very good sign. It was a huge poster board, thick poster board. And I took a picture of Paul Orndorff out of a wrestling magazine. Because the main event was scheduled to be Hulk Hogan versus Paul Orndorff in a steel cage match. Okay? And this was the height of their goddamn feud. Now, this is before the big blue cage fucking match on WWF Saturday Night's Main Event, which I think was January of 87. This was like October of 86, so we're right in the fucking heart of this goddamn feud. So, you might, and there was no signs of Andre turning heel anytime soon. That was months away. Oh, so I made the goddamn sign. I was a real Orndorff guy. I really was into Orndorff, and basically, I took this Paul Orndorff, and I remember when Orndorff turned on Hogan, and how happy I was when he fucking clotheslined his ass. And I turned. That's when I turned heel. I turned on Hulk Hogan when Paul Orndorff clotheslined him in July of '86. So now we go forth to this big cage match. All excited. Um, Basically, I made the fucking sign of Orndorff from a fucking wrestling magazine with his he's doing like the most muscular. He's going to do that Orndorff pose where he's flexing. And his hands were in such a way that I was able to take I fucking taped that onto the poster, and then I cut holes in Orndorff's hands, like openings, as if he was holding something. And then I made a fucking noose, and I tied the noose around Hulk Hogan's action figure, like that LJN fucking thing. So like I had Orndorff hanging Hogan. And it was a very like violent side. Like I had this fucking action figure coming out of the fucking sign, like this three-dimensional sign. Should have gotten a goddamn art fucking trophy. Now, my mom drives me to these fucking people's houses, Wacky Jackie and her two fucking sons. And this was the moment when even I was just not hardcore. I hate to admit it, but seeing the fucking assholes I'd be seeing, yeah, they're just people, okay? But seeing the people I'd be going this wrestling with, I just could not bring myself to get that fucking sign out of my mom's car to bring it to the goddamn show. So the sign went to waste. I made the fucking sign, but I could not bear to bring it with me. The Orndorff hanging Hogan sign. Hanging the action figure of Hogan. I just couldn't bring myself to bring it with me because these fucking assholes just were not into wrestling and they probably think I'm a goddamn lunatic. So we go and we pack into their fucking car, which I'm sure was uncomfortable. I guess I blocked that memory out. And I just saw, I found some website where it has all these shows listed, and it said there's only 10,000 people there. I don't know. It seemed like a bigger crowd than that to me, folks. I mean, it seemed like it was pretty fucking packed. Our seats were actually still pretty good. And so here I am with these four people, my mom, her friend, and these two guys, these two young, fucks that don't know anything about goddamn wrestling. And I mean, it was actually a pretty good show. The Capitol Center had like a really weird mix of WW. Like their shows were not exactly tight sometimes, meaning that they had some matches that were just kind of weird. I looked at the thing. It said like Billy Jack Haynes versus Hercules. I can't remember that for the life of me. There's a lot of new talent. I remember being there that night, and I knew about all the territories. Like Coco Beware was on the fucking show. I guess JYD, Junkyard Dog, beat Bob Bradley. Totally blacked that out. Um, Pedro Morales beat the Red Demon. I do remember watching Savage versus fucking Honky Tonk Man. Now this is why this was interesting. This was an Intercontinental title match, and Honky Tonk Man was babyface. Honky Tonk Man was new to the territory. I mean, it was still a territory back then. And it was a interesting match, but I remember the fans kind of not like, they were cheering Honky Tonk, but not really. Like they were kind of, it was weird, but the people, Savage was getting some cheers, so it was kind of interesting. I just remember the show, it was a very long show, and just a lot of weird fucking matches. If you look up that card, October 17th, 1986, Capitol Center. Capitol Center was where they filmed this movie called Heavy Metal Parking Lot. It was really a great fucking venue. Part of my disdain for, everything in life is just that the Capitol Center, where I spent all this time as a child, was fucking blown up, like to smithereens. So, any goddamn way. Main event comes, they put the fucking cage down, and guys, this was a fucking nice cage match. Orndorff, Hogan in that fucking cage, blood. They did a similar finish to the SNME, like, except that in this one, I think Hogan went over the top of the cage and Orndorff went through the door. I guess I just, glossed over the whole goddamn match. But I mean, it was just a really good match. And of course, I thought, God damn it, I should have brought that fucking sign. But it was a good time. Just to, give my mom credit. I mean, obviously, when parents go through a divorce, you want to keep the kids fucking happy. You do what you can to make them happy. And the wrestling made me happy. So she brought me to the show. And of course, she's trying to extend the invitation to these freaks, wacky Jackie and her goddamn sons. Which is just kind of like like they weren't into it, obviously. I mean, they were like, oh, this, was Andre the Giant. It was in The Princess Bride. Like, that was their fucking input. I remember when we went to their goddamn house that they had, like, MTV on and True Colors was the big song of the fucking time. So, I'm kind of becoming Matt Brock for some of you fucks. I know that I don't have a ton of subscribers. You can subscribe and like if you want, if somehow you stumble fucked upon this video. I do find that my sweet spot of memories is like the matches that I liked, like the wrestling that I enjoyed. Um, this was a couple of months before my first NWA show. December of '86, I did the Bunkhouse Stampede. I was watching some Saturday Night's Main Event tonight. Mean Gene Okerlund and Elizabeth. I guess I'm just thinking, waxing nostalgic about Mean Gene. Just watching. There was an interview with Mean Gene, Elizabeth, and George Animal Steel. And I mean, they're all gone now. So we're getting old, folks. We're getting old, and soon we'll be dead. How about that? But, look, if I die, you can watch all these goddamn videos. I can't imagine there's probably one or two people that are going to sit there and watch. I mean, if you watch every fucking Messier mantra, every fucking Mike Messier pro wrestling rant, Google dicked me and find every goddamn thing I did. You'd think that I had a pretty good life, but maybe, I don't know, it doesn't feel that way. But any goddamn way. So thanks for watching the goddamn video. It was a fun time. But it brings a smile to that fucking side. It was such a badass side. This fucking Orndorff choking Hogan, choking the goddamn wrestling action figure with a noose. Unfucking real. All right, MikeMessier.com.